Are you ready?
I can't hear you.
Are you ready?
I can't hear you.
This is Downtime Podcast, episode 169. 69.
Hey.
My name is Alyssa, and I am back on the pod.
Hey, I'm Jeremy. You already know me. I've been here for a little while, and welcome back, Alyssa. Good to have you back.
Yes. Yes, glad to be back. Glad to be back here in California, trying to get my life and my schedule together and just, working, as everyone knows. So just a typical day, but I've been going out a lot more, or actually eating at restaurants and stuff, which is nice.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm ready to talk about games for once.
Should we preface this by telling our audience that you won't talk about where you went because you want to save it for a future episode?
Yeah, we'll have a much more casual conversation about where I went, what my food suggestions are, all of that fun stuff on a side quest.
Yes, because I was telling literally every opening of an episode, I would just say Elisa's not here. She's at work in Philly, so people probably have a lot of questions for you, but for the time being, you will save that for a future side quest episode so we can talk about it in depth.
We can talk more casually about travel to Philadelphia too, which is why I want to save it for a side quest.
Mm-hmm.
And all of my recs, taking a side trip to New York, all of the above.
Awesome, yeah.
Yes.
But today's on going to be focused on video games, and part of our agenda today was you wanted to summarize your thoughts on the news that came out in the last 2 months. Is that still something you wanted to talk about?
Yes. So this is what we'll do for the pod today. We're going to do some quick updates of things that interested us with E3 2021. I don't have that many things that interested me from E3. Jeremy, I don't know how your list is looking, but we'll talk about E3 news first. Then we're going to catch up on news, or I'm going to catch up on the most interesting things that came out in the last 2 months that I haven't talked about yet, which is also not that big of a list. And then we'll end the podcast with Jeremy talking about the games that he's playing.
And then we have a couple of user-submitted questions that we will go into as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I've noticed on the Discord that there were a few questions that you didn't ask yet, so I'm looking forward to answering all of them.
Yeah.
And thank you for holding down the fort for the last 2 months.
Of course.
All the podcasts have been great.
Thank you, yeah. So for those that are listening, Alyssa has been listening to these past few podcasts. At least if you are active in our Discord, you'll see that Alyssa has been around or was around for some of those and would respond to certain news topics that were posted, or if something big happened, Alyssa would pop in and be like, yo, so at least
all the people that hosted you met on Twitter. What the heck, Twitter?
Twitch. I met them on Twitch. Yes. All the people most of the people that were guests, I would say, well, except for my brother and Ryan, Matt, and
Jordan.
Yeah, shout out to my brother. Ryan, Matt, and Daniel I know in real life, and I've known them for years. But Jiro, JP, and Gary, Tarek, I met through Twitch, and so it was really cool having them on and just hanging out.
Yes, it's been great listening to all the podcasts, just because whenever you have a different host on any episode of anything, they bring a different energy, and they have different topics that they find important to them that they want to talk about, and just talking and just expressing different interests. So I really enjoyed listening to the variety of different podcasts that came out.
Thank you. Stuff that
yes,
you found interesting from E3, Alyssa.
All right. Honestly, it's only 2 things.
Oh, wow. Okay, there's a lot from E3, but only 2 things? I want to hear
There was a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. There were a lot of things that interested me, but the 2 things that piqued my interest the most were one, Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, and I have a more investment in that sequel because I started playing Breath of the Wild 1. And I've barely scratched the surface of that game, but I'm very much looking forward to the sequel when it comes out in 2022. Jeremy, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if I'm going to finish Breath of the Wild 1 by 2021. I do like it. I think it's a very difficult game. It's a game where I haven't reached that point yet where I'm binging playing it. It's like I would play it in spurts, and then something's really difficult, and after that, I'll stop playing for like a whole week.
I get that.
And what was it like playing Breath of the Wild 1 for you?
Well, I played it right after I played Ghost of Tsushima, so there were a lot of things I was kind of used to in Ghost that I was thinking and mentally thinking like would cross over to Breath of the Wild, but of course they're two vastly different games. I think I was comparing it too much to Ghost, so I had to get into the mindset of playing that game because I missed Ghost of Tsushima so badly. That being said, as I played it more and more and more, it eventually grew on me. Because in the beginning, I was kind of turned off by it simply because I did find it difficult. I felt like there was a large learning curve, and overall, it just seemed so daunting because there's this whole map, and you're not really given direction on what to do, and you kind of have to figure everything out on your own, which I think is a really cool mechanic. And I think that
Yes.
overall, I started to play it more once I got the hang of things, once I started to understand things, and then I started becoming more interested in it and eventually beat it. And I got the motorcycle, I got all the divine beasts, I did everything. Like, not everything. I didn't finish the trials of the Master Sword, or whatever it's called. But I did most of the things I wanted to do and explored all the areas. So I think you just have to sit down one day, Alyssa, kind of like clear your mind, and then just start playing it and push through, because I feel like there's going to be a point where you're going to be so invested in the story that you won't want to put it down, because that's how I felt. But I mean, everyone's different.
Yeah, I haven't reached that point yet where I've experienced something in the story and then my mind's like, I gotta play this for 7 hours straight. I haven't reached that moment yet, and I'm 20 hours into the game, so I'm pulling through though, because I do like it, and it's a very challenging game, and I am enjoying that aspect of it, just for a change of pace. It's a different game than I've played in a while. I'm just trying to find that stride where I'm motivated to, all right, now I gotta finish this in the next month type of motivation. So I hope I reach that soon, because I would like to play Breath of the Wild too. And also I like the art style a lot, which is what interested me in playing the game.
Yeah. I love it. I love how it looks, and it kind of looks like a movie, which is cool.
Yes.
Okay, so Breath of the Wild sequel.
Breath of the Wild sequel. And then, oddly enough, Square Enix's Guardians of the Galaxy was not something that made me think, I gotta definitely play this game, but I was intrigued by the trailer because Guardians of the Galaxy really felt like it was a Final Fantasy game, and they just put Marvel IP on it. So Marvel's Avengers, which is Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics, so they both made that game, and I'd say just based off of the gameplay that I saw, they were trying to definitely make it kind of like a Spider-Man to me. I don't know how the reception was overall. I would probably assume it was like middle of the ground. Like, some people may have liked it and some people didn't, just based off of the games that year. But it definitely didn't interest me that much. Whereas watching this Guardians trailer, felt it was very story based and just it's a Final Fantasy game with IP or with Marvel IP. Like it felt like I was like the way that you're linearly walking through that planet and just the vibes it gave felt it was very JRPG-esque. So I don't have a vested interest to definitely buy this game on October 26th, but it's on my radar more than it normally a game like that normally would have been.
Oh, it's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Visually and thematically, it just feels like a space game, and it feels like a Guardians game, I guess.
We'll see how things go when more trailers, more gameplay are released, but those are the only two things that really caught my attention. There's a lot of things that caught my attention just because there's a lot of announcements, but those are like the two main things.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the fact that Sony didn't attend E3, which was more which for me was more just like yep, Sony at it again, thinking they're better than everyone else.
Right. I mean, it's a little justified, but calm down, Sony.
it is justified. It is justified in a sense because there is a shift to people having their own announcements and having their own streams, especially with Nintendo Direct. They can have a stream once a month. But when you have companies like Microsoft and Nintendo attending just for synergy and just for the video game community, there is a point where I'm thinking, you're not better than everyone else, actually.
Right.
Yeah. A lot of things I thought were cool, but I don't have much to talk about with them.
Nah, I feel it. I have it's not a big list. I have a list.
Yeah.
The first one on mine is The Great Ace Attorney, which is a prequel to Phoenix Wright. And
so let's talk about that because that was on my list. That's on my list of things that I wanted to talk of news that came out in the last 2 months.
Sure.
Yeah. But I'm very excited for that too.
Yeah, I don't play a lot of visual novel games, but this was one that interested me, and it's kind of a series that has always been around for a while, and I got interested in this series in college because my friend Matt, who was previously on the podcast, he introduced it to me. I got really excited when I heard that this is coming to the West. Initially, when I played the first few games, I was a little off-put because I wasn't really used to that style of game, but I got drawn into the story and eventually played literally all of them, even the crossover with Professor Layton. So I think this game is interesting because it was only released in Japan in 2015 and has now, of course, it will be released in the United States. But an interesting fact about this game is that in order to... Sherlock Holmes is a character in this game, but they can't call him that because there's a rights issue with the estate of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So years ago, there was another guy who had an issue with the copyright. This is like in the 70s or something. This is all secondhand from Matt telling me. They named the character Sherlock Sholmes as kind of like like a middle finger to the estate. And now that that character, which is basically Sherlock Holmes, has now gone into public domain, Nintendo of America can use that name as a translation of Sherlock Holmes, because in Japan, I believe his character is Sherlock Holmes, but in the US, his name is Sherlock Sholmes because of the whole copyright thing. So I thought that was really fun and interesting, and makes you want to play it more just to
hear Sherlock Sholmes,
right? Because like in my mind, I'm going to be like, all right, yeah, this is Sherlock Holmes for sure. But it's just going to be funny to play it, and plus, again, I love the series, and I'm really excited for this one.
Yes.
Second on my list is Halo Infinite. I am a huge fan of the Halo series. I have literally played all of them on other people's consoles. I've never owned an Xbox before, but I finally owned them because they're in the Master Chief Collection, which is on Steam. So I can finally replay through all of them before Infinite comes out. Hopefully. There's just so many games I need to play before certain things come out. nevertheless, I think the next entry in the Halo series looks awesome. The story looks cool and interesting. Yeah, it's just Halo. Far Cry 6 looks awesome with Giancarlo Esposito as the main villain. It is set in like a Cuba-esque island. So I'm really looking forward to making my own weapons and just shooting people with those homemade weapons. And just, making the people revolt against the evil government. As you do in Far Cry. There's also a DLC coming out where you play as the bad guys from several different Far Cry entries. So I think that's
that's very cool.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Different perspective.
Right? Yeah.
I would play a game with Giancarlo Esposito from the villain perspective.
Ooh, I know, right? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Here's hoping that one day we get to play as him.
Yes. Real quick, going back to that Halo Infinite announcement. Did you know that Halo Infinite has its own Pringles?
What? That's interesting.
Yes. So I'm assuming it's for advertising the game, but there are Halo Infinite Pringles that you can buy.
I'm looking this up.
Yeah. I don't remember what flavor they are. This is going to sound weird, but I think they're burger flavored.
They are. MOA burger.
So what does MOA mean?
I have no idea. MOA... Oh, hold on. Wait, I'm reading this article from PCMag.com. The MOA burger flavor comes from the MOA, a delicacy those on the planet Reach ate often, according to in-game lore, so it's fake. They resemble ostriches and several flocks of creatures that can live around Reach. So it's based on a bird, a fictional bird from the planet Reach, which is a significant planet in the war against the Covenant in the Halo games because most of the elite Spartans, basically what Master Chief is, because he's like a genetically modified human called a Spartan soldier. Most of the Spartans died on Reach, and Reach was like basically a tide-turning battle for the Covenant, the alien race that is trying to conquer the galaxy. But long story short, this is really cool. I think it's really clever and cute. I want to try this now. I think it looks interesting.
I don't know. I wonder if it's still sold. I looked up the article right now. It looks like it's sold at Walmart. I kind of want to try it too. I want to know what MOA tastes like.
I see. Yeah, I know. I want to know what a fictional bird tastes like. That's so interesting. But all right. I mean, that's kind of cool.
If I see it, I will get one and give one to you.
Oh, thank you. That's really sweet.
Now I gotta go to Walmart.
I know, right? Can I go to Walmart.com and just order it there?
I know.
Let's see.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. The next game on my list is Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. I
saw that.
I'm not 100% interested in this game. It's more of I would rather see how this goes because I want to know how the game is overall. The trailer I saw didn't provide gameplay. I don't know if there is a gameplay trailer. I haven't looked, but I'm curious because it is based on a movie that's like more than 10 years old at this point. With what I'm thinking is it's going to be released in conjunction with the new movies that are supposed to be coming out. Exactly.
There's supposed to be 5 new Avatar movies,
right.
And that's why they're also releasing a game.
They're all shot back to back, and I'm assuming this game is going to tie in with the first movie and all the other movies, and it's going to be one of those games that just is continually updated, or they're going to make a new game in the future. In any case, people are still talking about Avatar in a way because it's a game, it's a movie that has kind of been this interesting movie where it's one of the first ones to gross $1 billion, and it has had 3D, and James Cameron, basically all 3 of those things mixed together made Avatar. So yeah, I'm really curious to see how this game's going to be, since there was a tie-in movie game that came out some years ago when the movie came out, made by Ubisoft, I believe, as well. And it featured 3D as a setting in the game, so you can wear 3D glasses and play it, which was a huge gimmick and did nothing. But, they were just trying to market it as, oh, you could use it in 3D just like the movie. It's like, oh, okay. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
I watched Avatar in 3D and I hated every minute of it and I got a headache.
So I watched Avatar in 3D and I liked it because I thought it was the first 3D movie that actually felt like they utilized the 3D well.
Oh, yeah. No,
But I completely understand because that movie goes all over the place that it can make someone very nauseous.
Yeah, it's also very long, and I should clarify that I was nauseous by the end of it because that whole final battle scene was it was way too much for me, and I was like, okay, this is this is a lot. But the rest of it,
Yeah, you're right.
The first
that
two
movie
acts.
was really long.
It was really long. Yeah.
Honestly, that movie was almost 3 hours, but this is also the same director who can make a movie about the Titanic 3 hours. So we're
Right.
not surprised.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that was okay. The game looks cool. It looks like it's from the movie, so I'm interested in that. Back 4 Blood is the next one on my list because it is a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead 2. The Left 4 Dead series is created by Valve.
Oh, okay.
They never created a third game because Valve can't count to 3. That's the joke. But this one's produced by Turtle Rock, the original creators of Left 4 Dead, produced by Warner Brothers Games. I played the alpha back in February. It was fun, but after seeing that it's like a $60 price tag with all these other add-ons I have to get, I'm gonna wait a year because I don't know. I think that's too much, and I think this is one of those games that I was initially hyped for, but I'm gonna just wait and see.
For sure.
I have a few more. Starfield is next. No gameplay. It was literally just a cinematic trailer. Starfield is the next open world new IP from Bethesda Studios, the makers of The Elder Scrolls and Fallout, the most recent Fallout games. It looked cool. I mean, basically, if it's like Elder Scrolls / Fallout in space, then hell yeah, I'm all for it. That's gonna be awesome. So that looks interesting, but there's no gameplay, so I can't really judge it at this point. Third to last, Breath of the Wild sequel, as kind of we talked about earlier. I'm pretty hyped for it because I finished the first game and I want to see what this one's about. It looks like there's a lot more mechanics. There's going to be stuff in the sky, because how can you expand a map that everybody already knows? Well, I guess you either go underground or you go above. So it looks like they're going to be doing the same thing, but in the sky. And, I'm kind of excited for that. I'm getting some real big Skyward Sword vibes from that trailer, especially when Link was falling and he kind of had a garb similar to that in Skyward Sword. We'll see. We'll see what the excuse is when he doesn't know all his powers again. I don't know. It's going to be weird. Elden Ring, second to last on my list. These are in no particular order, by the way. I just wrote a list. Elden Ring looks cool because it's created by Hidetaka Miyazaki, the creator, one of the producers, I think. Not just a creator, but I think he's one of the producers on the Dark Souls / Sekiro / Bloodborne games, basically the Souls games, I should say, from Software. And in conjunction and written by, I believe, George R. Martin. He's involved as a writer. I don't know if he's a producer, but it says Miyazaki and George R. R. Martin, so I was like, yo, that's awesome. The trailer looks really cool. I love the just like the character designs, and I don't know what the plot's going to be, but maybe there will finally be like a cohesive plot, because I heard that in the Souls games there really isn't. We'll see how it goes. It looks really cool. And last on my list is Mario Party Superstars. I initially thought this was DLC for Super Mario Party, but no, this is an entirely separate game where they bring back 5 separate maps and 100 minigames. All these maps and minigames are from previous iterations of Mario Party, and it made me mad because I wanted this to be DLC, but now I have to pay $60 for an entirely new game. It makes me so mad Nintendo does this kind of thing, but I'm still going to buy it anyways. Like, I know I'm being like shafted, but I'm still going to do it.
If you If you know you're gonna play it with your friends, then it's worth buying. But if if no one's gonna buy it around you, then it's just an unfortunate cause.
Right. I have so many complaints about this game because one, they just released online multiplayer capability for Super Mario Party, which they should have released 3 years ago, I guess. The game came out in like 2018 when it first came out, and they didn't. It took them this long, and then now they're saying this is Super Mario Party All-Stars. I'm sorry, Mario Party Superstars. And guess what? It's built on the same engine, just different maps, different mini games, and there's online play. I'm like, dude,
that's really annoying.
Yeah, I'm like, you just gave multiplayer capabilities to this 3-year-old game, and now you're telling us you made a new one? Like, that could have been DLC easily. Like, I would have paid money. Whatever.
I was about to say Mario Party is not that old. It is 3 years old, huh?
Yeah,
wow.
The most recent one is 3 years old. Yeah, and
yeah, jeez.
Right? It came out like October 2018, and I played the entire thing. Like, my friends and I, we played the entire thing front to back. And then we got bored because, it's limited. There's not that much stuff you can do. And we were hoping that they would announce DLC. 3 years went by. I was like, all right, by the third year, I was like, there's no way. And then I saw this. I was like, yo, that's got to be some cool DLC. No, turns out it's a $60 separate game that I have to buy and be mad about, but I'm still going to play it.
Are you going to be streaming it?
I don't know. I'm salty. I'm so salty. Maybe. I might stream it.
We need those salty streams, though.
Mad the whole time while having fun somehow.
Mad the whole time.
Yeah, I'll think about it. I'm definitely going to get it, though. Like, without a doubt.
For sure.
That's all I got on my E3 list.
Yes.
Quite a bit.
The one thing I wanted to mention about E3 and conventions in general is I have a legitimate desire to go to a video games convention just because we've been locked up in our houses for a year and a half. And even though E3 was just a whole live stream, there was just something cool. And even though everyone shits on E3 because E3 has made a lot of bad decisions, but there was like a point where I saw people talking about E3 and just people giving their opinions. And I was like, man, I'm not going to lie. I miss convention culture sometimes.
Yeah.
So I really hope that conventions kind of do come back next year. I would love to go to one. Still need to go to Tokyo Game Show. You see, Jeremy, this is how I feel. I just need to go to at least one convention and I'm set for life.
you met your quota and now you're good.
I met my quota. Yeah. We're good to go.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. As much as E3 is E3, people like to talk about games together and people get hyped when companies all release their news at the same time. And I think there is a value still of just people coming together who are fans of things and, having talks, like having developers say their piece, talking to voice actors and actresses. So I think that conventions still have a place, even though there's going to be less of them. I still think that there is a niche to it.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's also one of my goals for next year. Like, I do want to go to Tokyo Game Show as well. Next year I'm going to make it happen. Like, I feel like it's one of those things I've been putting off for so long. And, I've said that about other conventions too. Like, oh, I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go to this. Like, Rooster Teeth Expo, I was trying to go for the longest time. But then I fell out of favor with just watching Rooster Teeth content. So I really didn't find a desire to go. And I kind of regret it because a lot of the people that I used to admire from that company no longer work there. And they don't really have a reason to attend the convention other than to meet fans of theirs from a while ago. But at that point, like, what's the point? For me though, like, Tokyo Game Show will always be there, but what if one day it's not? What if I die one day? So I've been thinking about stuff like that. I'm not to take it to a dark place, but like, just to like say that I went there, just to do it at least once, and I've been really looking forward to going back to in-person stuff. Like, California as a whole is slowly reopening with the whole Delta variant thing going on. Like, it is scary, yes, but I think most people in the Bay Area are being very careful. So that's great to know.
See, if a convention happens in California, we're fine. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know about Georgia or Louisiana, but we're gonna be fine in California. So
Yeah, exactly.
So moral of the story, folks, is you gotta YOLO it before there's another pandemic.
Yeah, just, live your life freely. Not too freely, but...
Live your life.
Yeah, just be careful out there.
Go to space if you want to.
Yeah, if you want to make that your goal, go ahead. No one's going to stop you, except for money.
Exactly.
Money will stop you.
Exactly.
But nobody will stop you. Something will stop you, but no person will stop you.
Exactly. You gotta go to space before there's another pandemic.
Yeah.
So, keep that in mind.
Unless you somehow produce space COVID.
Oh, God.
Can I talk about something random?
Yes, go for it.
So, I dropped $230 today on games in Steam.
Okay. What games you buy?
Oh my god. I bought all the Resident Evils. I bought a racing game called Hot Shot Racing. I bought
Oh, you bought Hot Shot Racing.
Nice. I've actually been watching this game for a while, like through its development, and I'm pretty excited for it. I bought what's it called? I bought a bunch of DLC for Dead by Daylight that I kind of have been slacking on that I've always wanted to get. Black Mesa, which is a remake of the entire first game in the Half-Life series. GTFO, which is a multiplayer co-op horror shooter. Sniper Elite 4, which is a third-person sniping game set in World War II. Mafia Definitive Edition, which is a remake of the first Mafia game.
Okay.
It Takes Two, which is a co-op game that's created by the same guys who did A Way Out. Wolfenstein Youngblood, because I played all the other ones and I was like, all right. PBA Basketball Slam, which is a Filipino basketball game created by like a small indie Filipino studio based in the Philippines, obviously. So it's hilarious. I bought it because I'm actually gonna play it during Filipino American. What is it? Heritage Month?
In October.
Yeah, October. I want to play it during October, like the first day in October.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be hilarious. It's not gonna make any sense. And the last game on my list is something you talked about so long ago, Alyssa. I Got Detention.
Oh, that's a good game to play for Halloween.
Yes, agreed. That's why I got it.
Oh, that's exciting. Oh, and it's a great game. You can finish that game in one stream too.
Yeah,
so.
I'm definitely gonna do it. And you gushed about this game like 2 years ago. It's been a long time since you talked about it, but I'm gonna play it and
yes,
I'll talk about it.
A very good game. I like it a lot. I like the lore of all the yokai and implemented and whatnot. So I think you'll enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
So what are you playing?
All right. So I am playing a few games, but I will talk about that in another podcast next week, just because I don't have any substantial updates. The main ones are playing Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing, and then I'm finishing up Persona 5 Strikers. But I'll talk more about that next week. There are a few things that I do want to talk about. There's one main thing that I really want to talk about that came out in the 2 months that I was gone. First, let's talk about real quick that Ghost of Tsushima, this is new. This is as of this week. Ghost of Tsushima has a new director's cut that is coming out for both PS4 and PS5, and it's Ikishima, I believe.
Yes, Ikishima.
Is the new island that they're going to pop up. Yes. And honestly, I think I'm going to play it, Jeremy, just because Ghost of Tsushima is an amazing game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I will probably play it at the end of the year. I don't think I don't think I'm going to play it immediately, but I am very excited for it. Okay. Also, if I had a PS5, I could upgrade it, but I don't.
Same. I do not have one as well.
Sad life.
I know, right? But I'm still going to be playing this as well. I do want to play this DLC. It looks awesome. Ikishima, for those that are not familiar, is an island that is off the coast of Tsushima, and it is really close to Fukuoka, which is another major city in Japan. And it was also invaded by the Mongols during the same time period that Ghost of Tsushima takes place in. So you venture there for some reason. I think it's supposed to be during Chapter 2. Part of the mission takes you over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's cool because we finally get like a really substantial DLC thing for this game. And honestly, like, I thought this was already a complete experience because I had such a good time playing this game. I literally platinumed the game. And so now I might have to...
I'm on my way to platinum the game.
Yeah.
Still at it.
Right. And so now that they're adding this, I'm like, shoot, is it going to de-platinum my game? It's probably not, but like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to play this. So I am with you. I'm going to get it, but I don't know when I'll be playing it. Most likely towards the end of the year. Regardless, it's like, what, $20 to upgrade to the director's cut if you already own the game, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing that. Alyssa and I don't have PS5s, so sad life, but I think
sad life.
We're still going to have fun playing the game. I mean, it's not going to really change our experience a whole lot because, yeah, 4K is cool. Yeah, 60 frames a second is cool. Actually, 60 frames a second is really important to me. But, you know, yeah. I'm still I'm still going to play Ghost of Tsushima regardless because I had so much fun playing the initial story, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Man, would it be cool that if you had a DLC coming up of... Oh, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert! Don't listen if you haven't played the game yet. It would be cool if you had a DLC of Tomoe because she escapes to Osaka when Ishikawa's trying to hunt her down, and because they let her go on the boat. It would be cool to have a DLC that's in feudal Osaka.
Everyone was like, that's what the sequel's going to be about. I could totally see it, but like at the same time, I don't know, like I feel like Jin is such a unique character that it's kind of hard to make another game about a different character unless you could play as both. Maybe he looks for Tomoe. Maybe like that's the main story.
Maybe.
But yeah, I would love to play as like a female archer ninja type character. I think that'd be cool.
I think that would be cool too, especially I feel like there's a substantial storyline that could be made to make it a full game sequel or a DLC. But I do think that there's a lot of potential with the way that Ishikawa's storyline ended.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. And spoilers.
Yep, there you go.
Now, so let's take it back a little bit. We're going to take it back to, I think it was like March or May, where Sega released a countdown, and it was a countdown for Judgment, a special edition to be released. And this comes out around the same time where there's rumors that Sega made a trademark for something called Lost Judgment. And you have this big countdown ticker. You have no one knows what's going on. There's a giveaway for all of these original Judgment games. And finally, on May 7th, a trailer drops for Lost Judgment. And when I saw this trailer, I was like, the gang is going to Ijincho.
Yes.
So just to break down the trailer real quick. So you have this man named Ihara, and Ihara is standing on trial for something. We don't know what it is yet. But the one thing that is revealed is that there is a person named Mikoshiba, and he's dead. And Mikoshiba is related to Ihara because Mikoshiba drove Ihara's son to suicide. So, what I'm guessing is happening, Jeremy, and tell me if I'm completely wrong, is that Ihara is standing on trial, and basically Yagami is trying to figure out if Ihara actually killed Mikoshiba or not. Or defending that Ihara did not kill Mikoshiba.
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
For sure. So, yeah, I'm pretty hyped. All of the characters are back. You have Hoshino back. You have Saori back. Sugiura and Kaito are in the Jincho. Yeah, I was just like, man, this is exactly what I needed.
Hot Boy Summer.
Hot Boy Summer.
Part 2.
Hot Boy Summer Part 2 in Yokohama. Obviously, gameplay trailer is very telling and very revealing. You can skateboard now everywhere that you go. You don't have to walk or run, which I think is great. So I think that the skateboard aspect in the original Judgment only happened for like 2 missions, right? But after that, you didn't really see Yagami on a skateboard anymore.
Yeah. Maybe that mechanic was so popular that everyone's like, yo, we want it back.
Yes. And we go into high school. I don't know why we're going to high school, but we're going to high school.
It's so
Yagami's
random.
who even knows? You know what? I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I'm about to join the cheerleading club and the dance team.
Yep.
So it's all that matters to me. This is the mini. For anyone who doesn't know the types of mini games that I'm into, basically, there's 2 mini games that are on my top. Number 1 is karaoke, and number 2 are all of the dancing games. So the dancing game at the disco for Yakuza 0, Yakuza 5, where Haruka's training to be a J-pop idol. This is the type of mini games that I will spend at least 5 hours on in one sitting. So I'm really hyped. I'm very hyped for all of the school story mini games. Also, are they it seemed like they were reintroducing some sort of RC, or robotics type of, they were introducing some sort of racing school story in the form of, a robotics, RC, club on campus.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I was a little confused, but I'm still hyped nonetheless.
Yeah. Hey, you need to have at least one racing mechanic in a Judgment mini, in a Ryuga Gotoku mini game.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
So that's probably what it is.
Right. I'm here for it though. I mean, I'm always a fan of the racing stuff. I think it's just that cool. It kind of adds a something not competitive. I guess competitive, but also just something different. The Ryuga Gotoku Studio games are always known for the side stuff because literally your boy spent hours on the pocket circuit mini game in Yakuza 0.
Days.
Years. No.
Years.
I mean, it also goes to show because Pocket Circuit Fighter, I don't want to spoil too much, but Pocket Circuit Fighter is such a relevant character, and
yeah.
They
bring him back.
Yeah, he's so relevant in future games, games plural. It's so cool. Literally years. So I'm I'm hyped for all the side stuff because like you said, karaoke is also one of my favorites, and I think that's a staple. You cannot get rid of karaoke. I think that it's always gonna be there. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the setting too overall because I know it's literally the same thing as Yakuza 7. But
I love Ijincho.
Yeah,
it's such a good setting.
Exactly,
it's fantastic. There's so many things.
Exactly,
and it's huge.
Yes, love it. Love it.
Huge.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm planning to go to Japan later this year if they allow tourists in the fall. I mean, if not, then I'm just gonna go early next year.
For sure.
But I do want to go to Yokohama at some point just to walk around, not necessarily to compare how real everything else was compared to in the game as opposed to real life. I just want to walk around, just be like, yo, I'm in Ijincho. Ha ha ha.
Ho ho ho.
Ho ho ho.
And I don't know, Sega, I don't know how many times I gotta say this, but if I don't play a game where you can actually interact with Minato Mirai, then what's the point? What are we doing here? Why?
Yeah, let me stay at the hotel.
Just why? Like, what is the meaning?
Right? Yo, I just want to go over there. Like, that's that. Yeah. Honestly, like, Minato Mirai is like one of my favorite parts of Yokohama, so I would love to go there in the game.
We want to see our characters riding Ferris wheels. I'm just saying.
Yep. And visit that cup ramen museum. Cup noodle museum.
One day I will go there.
Oh, you gotta go. It's so
And then
fun.
I'm gonna wear it as a necklace like they do on Terrace House.
You remembered.
I'm telling you, Terrace House is a phenomenon.
It is. You know, despite everything that happened in the show in this past season, I'm still a fan. I still like the show a lot.
Yeah, if you think back at all the 3 regular seasons, or all the 4 because there's 5 seasons of Terrace House, and there's 4 regular seasons where it was fine. So
yeah,
completely fine.
I mean, Aloha State had some stuff, you know. I'm glad we both agree. Well, okay, no offense to our boy Eating Kai, friend of the show, who we interviewed, because he's awesome. In my opinion, he didn't get enough. I think he should have got more screen time. They should have developed his persona more on the show. But the other stuff,
I know, yeah, questionable. Sherry, Taishi, I don't know. Well, anyways.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, that's a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah.
Don't watch Aloha State.
At least watch it until
first.
Yeah. Don't watch it first. Watch it until Eden Kai leaves and then turn it off.
Yeah. Exactly. There you go. Oh, Guy's okay though.
Guy's dope.
I like Guy.
Yeah.
Watch until he leaves. End of story.
Yes. There you go.
So. Back to Lost Judgment. This game is going to remain a brawler, which, Jeremy, I think this confirms the fact that the Judgment series is going to be the brawler and the new Yakuza series is going to be the turn-based.
Yes. I agree, and I'm okay with that, honestly.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they're in a shared world, but they're not.
Yes.
They don't cross over. Like, I think maybe in the future, if it's right, like if the story's right, it will cross over. But for now, I'm totally fine with it all being separate, but in the same universe, because that just makes me more of a fan of it. Because I'm like, oh, yo, I'm so familiar with this, but I can play the game in a different style with separate characters. So in a way, you're like experiencing that place for the first time with those characters.
I think it makes it better too because, to your point, 2 different styles and 2 completely different stories. Because one's a strict mafia story, and the other one, the guy's a rogue lawyer, a rogue defense attorney, ex-defense attorney. Or actually, no, technically, at the end of Judgment, spoiler. But he does. He is the one that does the testimony, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's also in the trailer for Lost Judgment at court, so I assume he's still a lawyer.
Yeah, so he's back. Our boy Yagami's back at it.
Yep.
Now, one last question: do you think that Sega is primed that they're going to alternate Yakuza and Judgment from now on? Every year?
It seems like that because the studio's bigger now from what I was watching in some of the video interviews they were doing, and they definitely have the staff because when the re-releases came out, it seemed like they had all hands on deck but also a separate staff dedicated to that stuff. So I'm pretty sure within Ryuga Gotoku Studio there's a team that's working on the Judgment series and there's a team that's working on the Yakuza series. I'm not 100% certain, but it seems like there's a little bit of a crossover, but there's also 2 separate teams working on both different IPs. So I could totally see them coming out with a new Judgment game / Yakuza game every other year. Just, like that.
And honestly, I'm very excited for it. I'm going to play it all.
Yeah, I'm going to throw my money so hard.
Have all of my money. This is the only franchise I'm still buying the hardcover for it.
Me too,
Although
physically.
I should have bought the physical for Persona 5 Strikers because I actually really love that game. But maybe when I got some spare money in my life, I will also buy a hardcover for that. But yeah, this is the only franchise I still buy hardcover. So
yeah. Related but tangential, for some reason, after that announcement, I started thinking about if I wanted to buy it physical or digital. Ultimately, I settled on physical because I don't know. There's just something. This is one of the rare instances where I feel like I want to buy the physical release because I have literally all the other games on physical, so it just makes sense in my mind, you know?
Yes.
So with that mindset in place, I went on eBay and I ended up buying Yakuza Kenzan and Ishin.
Okay.
The PS3 versions and the PS4 version of Ishin. Whether or not I will play them remains to be seen, but I have the physical versions.
Man.
Yeah.
If you do play it, I'm very curious to watch you.
I will let you know. I mean, I might stream it, but
okay.
Or I might not even play it at all because there is a lot of kanji in that game that I can't read because they're set in time periods during, like the Edo period, but also before that. So
for sure,
there's a lot of characters and terms I probably won't be able to translate on the fly. I'll just be like, yeah, sure, whatever. We'll see.
Yeah.
Again, we'll see. I'm still thinking about it, but I have them, and I merely got them because I wanted to just collect them and just have it in my collection because it looks cool.
Yeah. I think it honestly, I like the investment.
Yeah, why not? They're older games, but it's just cool to have in general.
Yes.
All right, cool. Other stuff you wanted to talk about Judgment on?
The last thing is just simply September 24th, y'all. September 24th.
Hey, mark your calendars.
Mark your calendars. And that's it.
Yeah. I got my pre-order in. I got it on Amazon. I got it.
I should get my
do it.
Pre-order in too.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
I did same day shipping, and they won't charge you until it's shipped. So that's something to look at.
I think I'm gonna call a day off when I get this game.
I mean, I know that your love and passion for this game is so high. So I would not blame you if you took a day off, Alyssa.
Yeah, I love Judgment so much, and I just don't want to play it at like 11 o'clock and just be super tired after a day's work. So I think honestly, Jeremy, I'm gonna call a day off for this.
Do it, Alyssa. Do it.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
Friday, September 24th.
I mean, it's still that's pretty much summertime in the Bay Area. So Hot Boy Summer Part 2 in Ijincho for sure.
Exactly, Hot Boy Summer Part 2. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Cool.
And yeah, that's it. What are you playing, Jeremy?
Great question. So, Apex Legends is still on my list. Frustrates me. I started playing Valorant because my friend Daniel, who was on the podcast recently, has been playing it.
Yes.
He's always been playing it, but I kind of been more interested in it. Turns out I'm pretty decent at the game. It still frustrates me when I die, but I can play pretty well. I can hold my own. I'm not going to say I'm the best, and I'm not going to say that I'm like really, really good. I will say that I'm decent. I can aim, I can shoot, I can kill. And that's all you need to do in that game, pretty much. Well, I mean, there's other stuff too, obviously, but yeah. So Valorant's cool. Been replaying Titanfall 2 with some friends. The multiplayer's awesome. It's basically pre-Apex Legends because it's set in the same universe. And I'm a huge fan of the single-player story. If you have not played the Titanfall 2 single-player story, I don't know what to tell you. You got to play it right now. It's so good. It's one of the best.
I got to play it right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, I apologize for the motorcycle.
I didn't hear anything. I did not hear anything, but maybe it's in your recording.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, no worries. The game is really cheap right now. I think it's like what, $6, $7 right now on Steam, and I can guarantee you, it is one of the most fun and emotionally invested storylines I've ever had. Like, I did not think I was going to be this emotionally invested in the game, and a lot of the lore ties into Apex Legends, because there's a character whose father in Apex Legends you kill in Titanfall 2. And when you play that character, you feel so sad because you're like, oh man, I killed your father. Oh shoot. But like the threads are there. It's one of the reasons I love Apex Legends for the lore, because it just ties into Titanfall 2 and the Titanfall universe as a whole. So yeah, been playing that. Been playing Watch Dogs 2 because I got it for free from the Epic Games Store. It's set in the San Francisco Bay Area, so the map is not 1-to-1, but it is pretty accurate as far as where some things are in its general vicinity, which is awesome. And I've been having fun just running around and hacking stuff. The storyline's okay. But, you know, the fact that you can go to Oakland, you can go to Marin, you can go to Stanford and Silicon Valley, like that stuff is really cool. Dead by Daylight is doing a crossover with Resident Evil, and they're also celebrating their 5th anniversary. So there's a whole event going on for the 5th anniversary, but before that, they were celebrating the release of the Nemesis as the killer with Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield. Oh, I'm sorry, Jill Valentine, not Claire Redfield. But you can get a Claire Redfield skin for Jill. But Jill and Leon are the survivors, and they have all their unique perks, which is awesome. Been loving that. And finally, I've been playing Sea of Thieves because a Pirate's Life DLC came out, which is basically Pirates of the Caribbean in Sea of Thieves. They got Jack Sparrow, they got Mr. Gibbs, they got all these characters. I'm not going to spoil the rest of it because it's an awesome campaign. It's like, 5 missions long, and each mission is like an hour and a half, depending on how long you spend in it. It's so cool. It's one of the best things I've ever played in a long time. And just experiencing that with friends is on another level. Like, it's so cool. Unfortunately, it's not Johnny Depp voicing Jack Sparrow. It's a sound-alike, but he sounds really close. It sounds really, really good. I think they got Kevin McNally to play Joshua Gibbs because he sounds exactly like him. I have to look it up. I haven't been able to find the right info, but I'm enjoying it. It literally, I think it ties in with the movies. Like, that's how good it is. Like, it feels like a continuation of the movies. They even reference stuff from the movies. They have,
okay,
yeah, like in part of some of the quests are having Jack's compass, the famous compass that tells you what you want most, and then some of it also, they have like a book and it details all the events of the movies. So you know that this is a continuation of the movies, and I was so impressed because the amount of detail they spent into this DLC is awesome. It's free too, which is so cool. And yeah, that's all I've been playing. It's a lot. It's quite a bit. But
it all sounds very cool.
Yeah, thank you. I'm having fun. You know, video games are definitely a lot bigger part of my life now that I'm stuck inside.
I was about to say, because like now you're playing a lot of video games at once.
Yeah, it sucks. I'll be honest, because I can't just sit down and play one thing. I have to play multiple things. Like, all of these are multiplayer games except for Watch Dogs 2, like, which is solely single player. Well, I mean, okay, Titanfall 2 and Watch Dogs 2 have multiplayer aspects, but they are the multiplayer is not the focus of Watch Dogs, and the single player is not really the focus of Titanfall 2. Regardless, Watch Dogs 2 is my single player game. I was planning to play Yakuza 0 at the end of the month just to replay the entire story. Now I'm rethinking it because it's a big commitment, and I already spent so much money on all these games in Steam today, so I might just start playing those. I don't know, Alyssa. I have such a dilemma. Like,
well, the thing with Yakuza 0 is that Yakuza 0 is one of the longest ones, and it's at least a 80-hour commitment, if not 100.
Right? Like, at the end of it, I was 200 hours. I was 200 hours into playing Yakuza 0, and I was like, I don't know if I could play this again, but I've kind of had this renewed energy since the announcement of Lost Judgment was revealed, so I might go back and play Yakuza 0 and just start from there and then just scale upwards and play literally all of them over again, but I don't know. There's just, with August looming and other games coming out, I'm rethinking that plan. We'll see. Maybe I'll just YOLO it.
YOLO!
All right. No sleep. Just play games.
No sleep. I support that decision too. Why not? YOLO.
I mean, right? We're not married. We don't have kids. It's all good, right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
So the first
Cool.
one comes from Hooded Dude on YouTube, and Hooded Dude says, Gary is a cool guy. Agree with him on a lot of stuff. Bring him back sometime. I also love Battlefield. Played a lot of 3 and 4 and 1, but didn't get on 5. The changes they made to the gameplay didn't agree with me, building, etc. Neither did their marketing, typical EA, but I'm hopeful for the new one, being 2042. Also very hyped for Far Cry 6. Also, play God of War, Jeremy. Okay, so this isn't really a question, it's more of a comment. Hooded Dude, thank you very much. Tarek, he's a wonderful, wonderful guest. All the guests, actually, I want to introduce you, Alyssa, because they're all very, very wholesome, genuine people.
Yes, totally.
I'll sync with you after this podcast, but I have an idea for something. That's awesome, Hooded Dude, that you're excited for the next Battlefield entry. I definitely am, as I stated on that podcast, I think, many times. Been playing 5, but have been kind of getting bored of it. I bought Battlefield 4, because it was only like $7 on Steam. For the premium edition, which unlocks everything, so you could, oops, I totally hit my mic, which you can totally just, unlock all the guns and then just have a fun time instead of worrying about unlocks and all that stuff. And Far Cry 6 is going to be awesome. I do need to play God of War. Black Friday this year, I'm going to get it, hopefully. I'm going to get it digitally. I don't know if I'm going to buy a physical release, but yes, Hooded Dude, I will play it.
If you do play God of War, the next God of War, which I think is called God of War Ragnarok, comes out in 22.
Right, yeah. Ragnarok should be then. Yeah, and I'll definitely I need to just sit down and play God of War, So that's going to happen eventually. And Hooded Dude, thank you so much for your comment. Really appreciate you always interacting with us and posting some quality comments for us to read.
Yes, thank you, Hooded Dude.
Our next question comes from Dave97, aka Chariot Goblin, in our Discord. With news that Gran Turismo 7 and the next God of War will be cross-gen, PS4 and PS5, what are your thoughts on cross-gen games in general?
Oh, I think that cross-gen games are necessary just because no one is going to buy. Not every single person in the world will buy the new console at launch. And to be completely honest, you won't see majority of people buying the next console until year 3. So I think that cross-gen's just a necessary thing to do just for people to continue playing. I mean, obviously, you'll have cases like Ratchet and Clank where it's only available on PS5 just because they want people to play it. Ratchet and Clank being, I think, the biggest PS5 game that's coming out this year, but at least they're still supporting of people who have the previous console for at least 2 or 3 years before all games come out to the next console.
Right? Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you're saying, Alyssa, and I also want to add on that not everybody can get their hands on a PS5. Like, you're talking to...
That's a very good point.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's a shortage, and you're talking to 2 people who, 1, previously worked for Sony, and 2 is a more of a recent Sony fan. I consider myself more of a recent Sony fan because I got my PS4 back in 2013 and had only got my PlayStation 2 in 2006, 2007. But regardless, not everybody can have one right now, so I think it's really necessary because the PS4 was the best-selling console of last generation, and most people have them. Most people have a PlayStation 4 in their living room, so at this point, I think it's very, very necessary because, 1, not everybody wants to shell out more than double the price, I'm exaggerating here, for a PS5, and 2, again, not everybody can have their hands on one, so you kind of have to have these cross-gen games so that you can expand more audiences. And I really like what Sony's been doing with certain titles where they're saying, you buy this version, if you get a PS5, you can upgrade it for free there. And it's going to come at, no extra cost to you and won't be anything else extended. So I think that's really nice. yeah, so I think cross-gen games overall are necessary, and I think it's really cool that people have that opportunity and ability to choose.
Yes.
But cool. Thanks for your comment, Dave, aka Chariot Goblin. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. And shout out to Grand Theft Auto 5, I think being the largest cross-gen game of all time at this point.
Yeah. No one was surprised when it was announced for the PS5. Everyone's like, yep. Yep. Oh, so when's the sixth one? Which, by the way, I think the sixth one might not have online because online is so big right now. Like, that's the moneymaker.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see them making an online version. Maybe they will, but then they'll probably include a way for you to transfer everything. But there's so many people who are invested in RP, which is like, GTA 5 role playing on PC, but also people who are invested in their cars and their houses. So it's like, how do you cross that over? I don't know. I don't really have a stake in this. I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just curious to see how they're going to handle it.
Really random question. What is the does Rockstar have stock? What is the stock related to it, or is there even a stock related to Rockstar?
I don't know. That's a great question. I think it's under Take-Two, TTWO.
Oh, that would make sense because yeah. Because Take-Two is Rockstar and 2K, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bold strategy, but I think you have to hop, not just you, Jeremy, but just like a general you have to hop on Take-Two stock right now before Grand Theft Auto 6 gets announced and released. I feel like now is a good time to do it.
Right? Everyone's playing the finance game right now. Everyone's using like financial apps to get stocks. So yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Not a bad investment at all.
Yeah, and then also I feel like having 2K and Rockstar under your belt is just in general a very good play. Like I think that Take-Two has long term as well. Like I wouldn't just buy Take-Two just to sell it. I think it's like could solidly perform in the next 10 years or so if they buy or if they get more companies under their wing.
Agreed. Totally.
Yeah. And that's my stock tangent.
There you go. You heard it here first. Not a legal advisor, by the way. Not a legal expert.
No. Yeah, don't listen to me. I don't know anything.
You heard it here first. Don't listen to me.
You heard it here first.
But don't listen to me. Which one is it? Yes.
Yes.
And our final question comes from PJ in our Discord. And PJ asks, what are the summer plans for 2021? Well,
all right.
For me, I'm gonna go see my folks next month at the recording of this podcast, which is in August. I'll be seeing them. That's about the biggest summer plan. Oh, I'm gonna go to a concert in August as well.
What concert?
I'm gonna go see Zed.
Oh wait, no. We discussed this. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see Zed. Yeah.
Or maybe we didn't discuss it, but you said it on one of the podcasts when I was gone.
I mean,
but I don't know which one it is anymore.
No, I mean, well, to be fair, I've probably said this at least twice because like he's performed in the Bay so often, so I've definitely mentioned this is deja vu for you, maybe because like I've mentioned this like years ago as well. But this is gonna be interesting because the venue I'm going to, the Bill Graham, they've enforced COVID restrictions. So you have to either prove that you were tested 72 hours in advance or bring your card and show that you are fully vaccinated.
For sure.
It's a good peace of mind. So that's why I'm pretty confident about going to this concert because, everyone going there will either be fully vaccinated or they will be, at least tested negative for COVID.
For sure.
Yeah. So doing that, those are my big summer plans right now. I gotta watch the Demon Slayer movie next week, and then I'm gonna watch Fast and Furious 9 at some point after that. That's about it.
Oh, Fast and Furious 9's a 10 out of 10 movie.
I love this.
And wow. By the way, we not only jump a shark in Fast 9, we jump at least 10 sharks. But you know what? I'm here for it. This is what I'm here for.
Okay. Because I love these movies, ironically and unironically, because they're just amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's so good. I love them
absolutely
so much.
Fantastic.
Like, I'm here for everything. I'm here for everything that the movies have. So I'm going to definitely be watching it.
Yeah.
And
like, before the movie came out, I was like, how the F are we going to go through 8 movies, and in the 9th movie, we find out that Mia and Dom have a brother? Like, what the...
I know, right?
Like, what the heck is... I was like, what the heck is going on?
There's so much retcon going on. It's so ridiculous how much retcon is happening. But you know what? I don't fucking care. I'm here for all of it.
I'm here for it all. Like, Han's alive? Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Give it. Inject it in my veins.
Yes, dude. I don't care how he lives. He's alive. That's all that matters. Listen,
exactly.
He's here.
Exactly.
But I'm hyped. Alyssa, what are your plans?
My only major plan is I'm going to take a trip to just like a 4-day weekend to the East Coast, just for a family trip. And I'm just gonna be catching up with a lot of people, and if wherever a 3-day weekend seems fit to like go to Los Angeles or go somewhere, like I'll try to make it work. But yeah, that's the only major plan, but the summer's wide open, so I'm excited.
There you go.
Yes. If you are a fan of this podcast and you want to send questions, you can email us at contact@Downtime.Live. You can go to www.Downtime.Live, and we have a form where you can submit questions. On that website and in the show notes, you'll also find a link to our Discord, and you can ask us questions in the Discord. We have a specific channel for it. We have a Twitter. We have YouTube. You can post any of your questions there, and we will respond and answer them. And anywhere where we have the podcast. So, except for Spotify, because I don't think you can comment on anything in Spotify. But where you have Stitcher, etc., ask a question there. And Podbean, ask a question there, and we'll answer. Unless it's Overcast or Spotify, because they don't have that functionality.
Or Google Podcasts. They don't have it either there.
Or Google Podcasts. And if you like this review and you're listening on Apple Podcasts... Oh, sorry, not review. If you like this podcast and you listen on Apple Podcasts, please write a review for us, and we'll read it on the podcast. Ironically, Jeremy, because I have Apple and I have the iPhone 12.
Mm-hmm.
They recently updated the podcast app, and it is literally ass.
Oh,
like,
no.
The interface is absolutely terrible, to the point that I was just like, I want to complain, but I want to make sure that everyone sees it. Like, that's how bad this UX update is. I was using it, and I was just like, how the fuck did Apple think this was acceptable? Anyways,
PSA.
Feel free to PSA. But yeah, it's great to be back, Jeremy. And looking forward to talking to you next week.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to episode 169. See you guys later.
69.